good morning. This is Bob speaking to you from my farm in the Annapolis Valley of Nova Scotia. It's a Sunday morning, and there's a little chill in the air, and I notice also there's a little breeze, so you might just be picking up a little bit of wind noise there in my speaker, or no, sorry, in my microphone. Today I thought I would start some planting. It's a bit late in the season because of the winter that we've had and the rather cool spring. And since I have mainly sand for soil here, I can't really plant directly into the ground. So this morning I'm going to build a small raised bed garden and give you guys an idea of how it can be done quite cheaply and actually without the use of power tools, which is kind of nice because I'm probably 150 feet from my power source, and that's just too hard on my tools. So give me a couple of minutes, I'll get set up and we'll put this thing together. Well, here I am back again. It looks sort of like I got a table set up here, but I really haven't. This is going to be my raised bed. It's going to be 2 feet by 8 feet and about a foot high. Thought I'd show you some of the stuff that I'm going to use here. Thought I'd better have a square for those corners, and of course a hammer to knock things into the right position. Since I'm way down at the back of my property, I can't use power tools. So I've got my handsaw and my brace and bit. There's one other thing that I need to add. I get really tired, my wrists get really tired when I'm putting those screws in, and there are 36 of them in this project. So I use that brace and bit as a screwdriver, and it allows me to put those screws in a lot faster and a lot more effectively. Okay, let's see what we can get done here. Okay, first of all I'm going to show you the setup of the screws, the screw holes here. You notice I now have the ends done, and I've got 2 rows of screw holes in the ends of each of the 2x6s. The distance here, between here and the end, is 3/4 of an inch, and the distance here from this line to the end is 2.5 inches. I have to have that 2.5 inch one because I like to put corner braces in, and you'll notice over here I've got some short, I have one actually there, one short 4x4, which I'm going to have to take up to the shop and cut because that handsaw of mine just isn't sharp enough to get through all that 4x4. But I'm going to have a corner post in each corner, so I'm going to need 4 of those. Okay, let's start putting this thing together. It goes together pretty fast. Well, there you go. What do you think? Looking like a raised bed already. One thing I forgot to tell you about, a set of pipe clamps right here. Even better than an extra pair of hands. If something slips, you don't get grouchy at them, and it doesn't do you any good. So I've got everything squared up, held in place. Now all I've got to do is put those screws in. 36 of them. Be right back. Here you see my progress. Even with that brace and bit, I only got 1 screw into each corner, and it was hard going. So I think what I'll do is I'll take the rest of it up to my shop and turn those screws in. But I like to put those corner posts in that you see there. It gives it a whole lot of extra strength, and it gives you a little more surface to put your plant pots on. You always have plant pots starting this, that, and the other thing. So it works out pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'll shut off, get the rest of those screws in at my shop, and then bring it back and show you how to set it up. Well, as you can see, I'm back again here with my project, the raised bed. it's been a little more difficult a project than what I thought it was going to be. As a matter of fact, I'm into the next day with it. I found that the screws that I'm using, they're like a galvanized screw, but I think the company that made them a little bit cheap, they didn't sink the holes for the screws. They had the screws as deep as they used to, and I've been rounding out my drill here, something terrible. But anyway, this piece is together. The dimensions again is 2 feet by 8 feet, and it's going to be 1 foot high. Now I've got 2 things that I could do here. I could put on each board individually and carry the whole structure into my garden, or I could build another one of these minus these corner supports and take it into the garden, plunk it right down on top. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do here, but anyway, this just sort of brings you up to date. Here we go. I got it together. My raised bed. I don't think it makes any difference if you put this thing together one board at a time, or if you build it all in a different place and move it here. I think the amount of work is just about the same. One thing I'll caution you on is what do they call that stuff? Landscape fabric. You're supposed to put it beneath your raised bed to stop the roots from coming up, or the plants from coming up. You know, the weeds, dandelions, and all that stuff. I got this stuff at Canadian Tire, and it's reputed to be the best stuff since sliced bread. But it's just plastic, and when I unrolled it, I was very disappointed. It's very, very thin. Wouldn't even make a good garbage bag. As a matter of fact, I probably would have been way farther ahead had I just cut black garbage bags and laid them down. But anyway, I've got it in there. Now, I know that there is some controversy about whether or not you should use pressure-treated wood. Some say, oh God, no, that's toxic, don't do that, you'll poison yourself. And others say, no, the stuff we're using today is not toxic. You can use womanized lumber and it'll last you for 50 years. And, you know, God bless you. Well, I don't know what to say about that. I'll tell you what I am going to do, though. I'm going to get some plastic and line the inside of this before I put soil and mulch and whatnot in it. Yeah, I think it's better to be a little safer than terribly sorry. Okay, I'll shut down here for a few minutes, and I will get my plastic and put that on, and then I'll show you how I mix up the soil. It's kind of interesting. Okay, here we go. I've got my plastic there, that white stuff, that's plastic. I cut that to 20 inches wide. I don't know how long it is, but I think one strip of it does the whole thing. And I got my stapler, extra box of staples, and I just put that tape there to hold the plastic down. I'm going to get started. There's nothing special about this, but I'll show you my progress as I go along. Okay, here we go. That only took about 5 minutes. I was wrong with that measurement, though. It's going to take two strips to go around that. It's a little troublesome around the corners. You have to kind of tuck it in and stuff, you know, and it's hard to make it neat and tidy. Now I know that's beginning to look like a casket, but as soon as I get the ground in it, it should look a little bit better. Okay, I'll come back after I get that second strip on. Okay, here it is. It's all covered in plastic. Really looking like a casket now, but it won't. I've made sure that I've overlapped the plastic with the ground cover, and the 2 sheets of plastic have overlapped as well. So I shouldn't have any concerns. I won't have any concerns about the leaching of that womanizing chemical. But now to start to fill this, what I'd like to do is use those leaves that I raked up last fall. Now, mind you, I didn't get it all raked up. The neighbor's got quite a number of them. But anyway, I've got quite a few bags here. So what I'm going to do is take a minute, and I'm going to start to spread leaves on the bottom of my bed. Just watch. there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe you can't see it yet. One of the things, you know, you got to remember about bagging leaves, the sun will destroy those bags. And I just broke one all to pieces, and I hope you didn't hear what I said. If you did, you know what I mean. So there's a few pieces of grass in there. But I'm going to spread all that out, and then I'm going to put a layer of soil on the top of that. So just let me work away at this, and I'll be right back. Okay, you see what I've done there? Now that's 4 large garbage bags full of leaves that I raked up last year, mostly maple and oak. Now I'm going to put topsoil on top of that. Just a second. Okay, see what's going on there? Now what you're seeing in the box there now is 3 bags of topsoil. I don't know how much is in each bag. If it was in metric, I wouldn't understand it anyway. But when I put that topsoil in, it compacted those leaves so that I bet you there's not much more than 1 inch coverage of leaves on the bottom of that raised bed. Now what I'm going to do, because that soil is kind of dry, I'm going to water it down. But I have to go over to my well to get some water. My well here is a sand point. It's one of the few advantages of having your farm mat in sandy soil. It's easy to put a well down. This goes down 23 feet, 1.25 inch pipe, but it has to be primed most of the time. And once it's primed, it's an endless resource of water. Just give me a second here. Okay, there we go. Take the bucket off. Usually I have a bungee cord to hold that handle down. That way I don't lose my phone, but I left it over in the shop. I don't want to go get it. So I'm just going to get a couple of buckets of water here, and I'll let that topsoil down. Okay, here we go. I got my bucket of water. Use my back. You notice my homestead philosophy here. I try to keep power out of this area beyond my decorative fence. I can lose myself down here for an entire day and not know what's going on in the world, and I like that. So the idea here is to, once you let that wet down, put another layer of leaves. So I'm going to do that, then another layer of topsoil, then another layer of leaves, and the final layer of topsoil, and project done except for planting. Okay, there you go. That's my second load of leaves. You notice in places there it's pretty much up to the top. So now I got to put my topsoil in, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do it one more time, but I won't show you guys. I'm sure you've got the idea. Well, there you have it. You guys are probably tired of listening to me. I made this simple little project into something that was a little more difficult than it should have been. I've got it pretty well cleaned up here, though. Even though I try to maintain the homestead philosophy, boy, it's hard to get away from plastic. It's everywhere. Okay, so some would say, well, gee, that's all done. Well, no, it isn't. I want to put in another layer of leaves and one more layer of topsoil and bring it right up to the top. I didn't buy enough topsoil, that's why I'm not finishing it. I thought there was 3 cubic feet in the bag, but well, it's not anywhere near that. So, anyway, thanks for looking in. I'll give you an update later on in the summer. You can see all my vegetables growing.